finally here. Another chosen undead to light the flame and continue this age of fire. It is good to see you, chosen one, even if it is all but a lie. Oh, don't worry about that. Ramblings of a man from another life. Maybe I'll explain it to you one day, but for now we must look forward to what is most immediately important to you, chosen. Welcome to Firelink. This will be your home from now on. A comfortable respite for you to lie your head and rest from the challenges that await you. I assure you will be back here many a time before your journey is concluded. Why am I here, you ask? I see you are the curious sort. That's good. It will do you well to maintain that inquisitive mind. It may just save your life. I am here to inform you of what is to come. I was once a fellow chosen, you know, and I have recently been reawakened to ignite the flame once again. But instead of concluding my quest, I've decided to stay behind and provide guidance for all the new souls of Lordran. As I understand it, this is your first time, and I'd like to tell you of the friends and foes you may encounter on your journey. So, if you have a moment, could I sit here and join you a while and let this old soul ramble a while? Thank you, chosen. You won't regret it. Estes? Suit yourself. Now then, where to begin? Yes. The Northern Undead Asylum. A place where you, I, and every other chosen undead begin their journey. I remember when I first awoke, it was a mysterious knight who dropped the key right into my cell. As it turned out, the knight wasn't so mysterious after all. He said his name was Oscar of Astora. Lovely fellow, it was a shame to see him pass, as I'm sure it was for you as well. Glad to take the Estes and key out, though. I always wonder how it is he manages to save the chosen undead every cycle. Does he ever tire of the same routine? Or does he even remember? No matter. Then I arrived here, as you have. What comes next will all be wonderful and terrifying, and there will be many souls who will want to help or harm you, and telling the difference is not always so easy. Trusty Patches, for example. Don't let the moniker fool you. I'd never trust that man as far as he could shove me down a cliff. That's why I meet with all the new souls, to tell them of who they may meet and warn you of who to trust. I'd hate to see you get backstabbed by someone you thought was a friend only to turn foe when you expose your backside. Anyways, I'm not sure how Lordran has changed since I first made my way through, but I can recount to you of those I met and encountered on my first journey through all those years ago. There will be a few faces you will meet and send to Firelink throughout your time here, should you choose to trust them. One such face is someone I'm sure you've already met, who I've simply called the Crestfallen Warrior since he refuses to tell me his true name. He assures me it doesn't matter anyways. Bit of a sodden fellow, but keep up with him. He might just provide you some useful insights if you've the keen mind to listen. He's wiser than he may seem, no matter how downtrodden. When you first may explore Firelink, you may meet Petrus of Thorlund. A bit of a loner, that one, and I'd suggest you don't bother him too much. As much as I can gather, he is a greedy priest from his land, using his order's prestige to trick commoners into paying for suboptimal services. He even despises other priests of his own order, but if you are seeking a quick miracle, he will provide it, for a price, of course. And of course, I'm sure you've seen the poor maiden caged below Firelink. Yes, her name is Anastasia of Astora, hailing from the same land of those clerics of the White Order. Anastasia is different, though. From what I have discovered, she seems to have chosen voluntary banishment from her homeland, and has been crippled to never leave Firelink. They cut out her tongue and left her below to tend to the fire. The firekeepers have a special power to tend the flame indefinitely, if only in small quantities. I pity the girl, really, but if it's what she wants, who am I to stop her? From Firelink, I then made my way to the Undead Burg. Quite the shoddy place, but it had a certain forgotten charm to it. Even met an undead merchant there willing to sell me wares. It's a bit of a strange place to set up shop. Personally, I think his mind was already gone. Kept stroking an invisible creature he called Yulia, but who am I to judge? And besides, his prices weren't too bad. Careful not to anger him, though. He carries a nasty katana at his side, and I'd hate to be on the other side of that blade so early on in my journey. Then, continuing on to the bridge, I met a jolly man so strangely uncommon in this land. Even thinking of him once again gives me warm memories. His name is Solaire, and he is a brave knight who, once undead, came to this land in search of his god of light, a beautifully incandescent sun. If you keep in his good graces, he may even join you in jolly cooperation. Truly a greater man never graced this land of decay. I do still wonder if he ever found his son, though. Maybe something for you to discover, eh? Then, of course, there was the mighty blacksmith, Andre. Quite the muscular build, that man, from working the anvil day and night. When you approach his workshop, you can hear the clink, clank, clang of his blacksmith's hammer. He is a trustworthy man, and will provide you the best weaponry in all of Lordran. If you can find higher quality embers, he will even improve his quality of weapons just for you, to assist you on your journey. He can even stock you up on weapons if you find yourself lacking the proper quality tools to defend yourself. Nearby Andre's workshop, you may also find Siegmeyer of Katarina. He will always be identifiable by his unfortunately designed armor. It seems designed to be like an onion, but he always assured me it was for tactical purposes and that it looked that way on purpose. I dare not argue with him, as any man strong enough to carry around armor so heavy and still get around must be strong enough to break me in two if he so pleased. Not the brightest man, however. He never quite found out how to get into Sen's funhouse fortress on his own. He may require your help from time to time if you choose to oblige. He may repay you one day if he is as honorable as he claims to be. Then, of course, there is Lautrec of Karim, a man locked up in the bell tower of the Undead Parish. Honestly, I am ashamed to admit that I left him to rot in his cell the first time I came through Lordran. I was unsure whether someone locked up in a tower and hidden was truly trustworthy, but if you feel like testing your luck, you are welcome to release him. But I warn you, any man locked up by undead is not to be trusted. After you ascend the tower and defeat its guardians, you may also meet Oswald of Karim. His business is a grim one, dealing in sins and sinners. If you ever find yourself wanting to be forgiven for a crime or a sin, Oswald can help you, for a price, of course. Honestly, I find him a bit creepy, but he does his job well, however he does it. In the depths, there was a man, Laurentius of the Great Swamp, caught up in a barrel to be cut up and served by a sadistic butcher. If you guide him back to Firelink, he can share with you the pyromancies of the swamp. If you have a proclivity for pyromancies, he may just grow to be one of your best companions, and he should be able to upgrade your pyromancy flame if you ask politely. In the depths, you may also meet Donhall of Zena. Quite the unique fellow, having a strange accent from another land. I believe his usual greeting goes something like, "I Shammai," or something like that. He says he's a peddler of sorts, but I think he's really just a scavenger. Whenever I had defeated a great beast of Lordran with an interesting set of armaments, they always seemed to end up in his possession somehow. Not any of my business, though. His prices are always fair, no matter how he acquires his wares. If you keep a keen eye in the depths of Blighttown, you may also meet one of the last living daughters of Izalith, Quelana. She is a master of pyromancies and can teach you all you need to know of advanced pyromantic magic if you respect her and can provide enough souls for her power. She seems a bit sad, as far as I understand it. She is the only one of her sisters who wasn't turned into a monster by the cataclysm in the Lost Izalith. Now she tends to her sisters, hoping she may fix them one day, or set them to rest. Past this, as you make your way deeper, you may encounter the one known as the White Witch, or the Fair Lady by her followers. Her number one is named Aingi, and he was once a powerful pyromancer of the Great Swamp, but he was exiled for his heretical toxic pyromancies. He made his way here, but was infected by blight. The Fair Lady saved him by taking in his blight, leaving them both crippled, but alive. Ever since then, Aingi has served her. She is afflicted with a condition known as blight pus, and she can never be cured. She is in a constant state of fog and barely remembers herself. Her sister Qualag remains nearby to protect her, even if she no longer remembers why. If you wish to ease her condition, it may be possible to lend the Fair Lady some of your humanity. Maybe she will grant you a boon for your service. Traveling to Sen's fortress, you may meet one of the most eccentric men in all of Lordran. He is a mage known only as Big Hat Logan. Silly, I know. Why would a man choose to have his moniker be based on the size of his hat? But when you see him, you will understand. The name is fitting. His hat is so large that when he sits to meditate, he almost looks like a hat with legs. I once asked him why have a hat so big, why not just wear one of normal size, and he looked at me as if I had asked why the sky is blue, or why it gets cold in winter. I simply left it at that. If you are seeking sorceries, however, he is the man you need. Careful that you catch him in time, though. He likes to make visits to the Duke's library, and if he does that before you learn his sorceries, you may not see him for some time unless you make the journey there yourself. Eventually, you will make your way to the radiant city of Anor Londo. When you do, you may meet the Dark Moon Knightess. She is a firekeeper, like Anastasia, but has been granted her power through her covenant. She is strong in her bond and will not tolerate any offense to her order, so be careful what you say of the gods in her presence. You may also encounter the giant blacksmith, a lovely fellow with a penchant for craftsmanship. He is well learned and can provide you with quality equipment worthy of a knight of the Golden Order of Giants. After you have defeated the royal knights Ornstein and Smo, you will encounter the lovely princess of the royal bloodline, Guinevere. Her radiating love is almost as large as her house-sized bodice, but you didn't hear that from me, Chosen. She will offer you the Lord Vessel to facilitate travel throughout the lands of Lordran with ease. If you happen to make your way below Firelink, you may find yourself in the hidden ruins of New Londo. If you do, there are a couple of friendly faces there. One such man is named Rickard, and he is a blacksmith from the sorcerous lands of Vinheim. If you seek to imbue your weapons with sorceries, he is the one you'll be wanting to deal with. No other blacksmith can enchant better than he. Not even Andre, or the giant blacksmith of Anor Londo, can match his skill with sorcerous weaponry. Careful with telling him too much, though. He has also been caged, and from what he tells me, it is less to protect others from him, and more to atone for his own sins. Whatever he did to deserve being in that cell, he must think is bad enough to continue to keep himself there. And he's perfectly welcome to, as long as he keeps enchanting my weapons. In the drowned ruins of New Londo is also the mysterious sorcerer Ingward. He will help you defeat the lords hidden in the abyss if you have proven yourself, giving unto you the seal to unflood the ruins, but I still don't quite trust him. Legends say he is one of 3 sorcerers who flooded New Londo long ago to trap the 4 kings, and the other 2 went insane, tiring of their duties. So what kind of man must he be to still be here, tending to the ruins all alone? I cannot tell if he is honorable and brave, or insane and foolish. Either way, it might be best to simply accept his help and not question him any further. If you make your way to the Duke's archives, you might find yourself in the presence of Sieglind of Katarina. At first I thought that Siegmeyer had somehow made his way all the way up to the archives, but when I heard the young feminine voice from inside the armor, I knew I was mistaken. As far as I understand it, she is Siegmeyer's daughter, and despite being human, has come all the way here to these undead lands of Lordran to seek her father. I would call her brave if not for her actions being so foolish. I told her where she could find her father, but I never did see them again. Said something about finding a secret lake shrouded in ash. I assumed her dead, but maybe not. I don't know how such a place could even exist, as I've been everywhere in Lordran, but maybe you can find them. You seem stronger than I, so maybe you can go places I was never brave enough to venture, No pressure, of course. You are welcome to tackle your destiny any way you see fit. I'm only here to act as a humble informant. Now, where was I? Ah, yes. At some point, you may need to venture into the depths of the catacombs, found just near here to the left of Firelink. If you make your way down, you will encounter all manner of undead, but there are still some friendly faces. Well, sort of. The first you may meet is known as Trusty Patches to the first-timers, but to those of us who know his true intentions, he is known as Patches the Hyena. He is a scavenger and a thief, preying on the weak and the gullible, stealing all their belongings and selling them off to the next sucker. His way of life is that the strong eat the weak, and to be honest, I can't quite blame him. Even if I don't agree with his methods, his means are certainly different, but at least he isn't some undead hollow rotting in a hole, eh? Oh, and if you do meet Patches, make sure to tell him you're not a priest of any kind. He harbors some kind of unknown hatred for priests and clerics. I would ask him why if I didn't think he'd ask an arm and a leg for that information, and I do believe he'd really take them. If you don't happen to see Patches up above in the catacombs, keep an eye out for him below in the Tomb of the Giants past the rotten pinwheel. He likes to trick and strip victims of their belongings in those darkened tombs. He must be able to see in the dark or something with how good he is at frisking a potential victim for their belongings in the dark. Just keep an eye out, Chosen. Don't be the hyena's prey when you can be a valuable ally instead. In the catacombs, you may also meet Vamos, the blacksmith. His appearance may be disturbing at first, being made entirely of bone, but don't worry, he won't hurt you. Unless you disturb his work, of course. Just be courteous of his time, and he'll make anything you need him to. He seems to have the unique ability to work the power of innate chaos into the make of any weapon. Other than that, I have no idea who he is or where he comes from. Maybe that's a mystery for you to solve, Chosen. What of the primordial serpents, you ask? Ah, so you must have heard of Kingseeker Framt and the Darkstalker Koth. Well, there is not much I can relate to you of their origins, but I can tell you what I know of their motivations. Both of them can assist you in placing the Lord vessel once it is obtained, but they each have differing motives for doing so. You see, the Kingseeker Framt wishes only to see the Age of Fire go on in accordance with the legends passed down by the old gods of Lordran. He wishes to see the chosen undead light the flame and reignite the Age of Fire. The Darkstalker Koth, however, wishes to see the fire snuffed out. He leads the Dark Wraith's Covenant, an order of hunters who wish to consume as much humanity as possible, and he can assist you in doing so if you like. It is rumored that it was by the Darkstalker Koth's whispers in the dark that the four kings were led to madness, leading them to the state they find themselves in now. But whichever you decide to side with is up to you. I am not here to sway your decision, only inform you as much as I can so you can make the decision for yourself, Chosen. I only hope you'll make the right one. Anyhow, this old soul has rambled long enough, and I'm sure you have places to go and Lord souls to conquer, so I'll leave you to it. Maybe I'll meet you in the future, And if I do, I could tell you of the painted world of Ariamis, or maybe of the golden sorceries of Ulasil and its eventual tragic downfall. Well, as a good friend of mine once said, be safe, friend, and don't you dare go hollow. Hey, this is Night Fantasy ASMR again. This audio and script were a lot of fun to make. I have been a fan of Dark Souls for a long time, and I always like this idea of just one of the old players or characters just kind of sitting down and talking to you about all the stuff that you might see, the people you'll talk to, and I'm thinking about doing this for the other games as well. Dark Souls 2, 3, Bloodborne, Elden Ring, just all those, something like this. I'm also thinking I might do a whispered version of this instead of the soft-spoken, because I know some people don't really like the soft-spoken, some people like the whispered. So if you could maybe, tell me what you prefer down in the comments below. If you want to support me, like and subscribe, and see you next time, darlings.